Okay, so this is Sam Taggart again. I'm here again with the theatrical players kata. I'm off the main branch. I've just separated out the volume credits. So I've got two loops. And that was the easy one because these two can happen in parallel. They're completely independent. But what I'd like to do now is separate out this pricing information from this information right here. This logic that is calculating the string for each line item. And so I need to figure out how to separate those. So first things I missed the last time, run the tests first. Just make sure everything works. Control space, Control U. Hey, cool. I'm going to do what I would call a proximity refactoring first. This is a term that I got from Nicholas Carlo, but basically we're just going to make some space and we're going to separate things out. So I want to pass in the amount, and I will do the format as $ inside the formatting code. So this is all going to go into the formatting code. So I'm just kind of rearranging some stuff here. And maybe I'll even move this down so it's clearly out of the way. We can move some of this around later. All right. Now this is all the string formatting code. What I'm going to do is introduce an intermediate thing here. I'm going to introduce a cluster. And I'm going to do just a cluster without making it type def yet. That is something that I will do at a later point. So, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab the three things that this needs. And then I'm going to add an on bundle. I'm just going to do this. So separate out the code, and I've introduced this cluster here just to make it clear that like this is all the stuff that's going to go in the loop for the formatting the string. Okay, run the tests again. Make sure I hit all that correctly. And the test pass. Cool. Now what I can do is I'll make another loop, and I'm going to have to make it after this. So introduce some more space. We can go back and clean up all the space later. I'm not as interested in keeping things nice and neat now as I am in just moving this stuff over. So we can move this over here. And we can go there we go. And we can add a shift register here. They changed the behavior of that, and I don't know if that's going to create a control there, but that's fine. Do that, and then we can delete this. And now if we run the tests, it should still pass. And so now we've separated out that loop. We can block diagram clean up this. We can shrink this loop. And there's more cleanup that we could do here. We can also take this and move this over there. So in summary, for splitting a loop, if you can do the two things in parallel and neither one depends on the other, you just copy the loop, delete the stuff you don't need in either loop. If one part of the loop depends on the other, so you got to run them serially, you can do some proximity refactoring, kind of group things together physically in the space, and then you drop a cluster and to separate, and you pass the cluster from one loop to the other. And here I would probably go and make a type def out of this, call it like line item. And I could create sub-VIs of all these. The reason we're doing this split loop refactoring is so that we can turn each of these into sub-VIs so that somebody can work on changing the way we calculate volume credits without stepping in the toes of somebody who's working on how we calculate prices or somebody who's working on how we formulate the reports. So it allows us to then push these down into sub-VIs, and then we've got our modular design so that there's multiple sub-VIs and somebody can work on one without stepping on the other. And also, even if you're not working in parallel, if you're doing trunk-based development, which is what I recommend, you can still, if I'm changing the formatting code, it's not in the same VI as the stuff that calculates price, so it really shouldn't affect that. It just kind of gives you a little bit more separation. And of course, too, every time I ran the test, I probably could have made a commit as well. I was not doing that because I'm just trying to demo the refactoring itself. But, that's also a worthy thing. Some of these I might do all the steps and then commit because I know them and I know them really well. But if you're afraid that you might make a mistake in between and you don't have to revert the whole thing, you could make multiple small commits along the way.